Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be dropping a lot of value for you guys in regards to Q4 and how you should be taking advantage of it, the steps you need to be kind of taking in order to really make a lot of profit in Q4 in regards to phone flipping, because if you guys don't know, the holiday season is right around the corner, which means people are buying, people are selling, people are just in this frenzy of like using their credit card, spending money. So that's where we come in. We take advantage of that scenario. It literally applies to any industry. No matter what you're in, you're obviously selling something, and just for us that might be phones, but pretty much any industry makes most of their money in Q4. To be honest, I'll probably make more in the next like few months in regards to Q4 than I will probably in the entire year, simply because of the amount of volume that goes into Q4. So I'm gonna hop into my computer here, show you guys some of the things you guys should be taking advantage of and the steps you need to be taking in order to take advantage of Q4. So with that said, let's get right into it. So as you guys can see here, we are now into my computer. I thought it's just a little bit better to have this sort of visualization for you guys. Write it out, and so if you guys want to screenshot this at the end, I already wrote the points, but I just have a picture over here. I'm going to go point by point and things you need to be doing in order to take advantage of Q4 to the fullest. So with that said, we'll get right into the first point, and that is actually running ads like crazy. If you guys aren't running ads for phone flipping, then you're doing something wrong. And not to say that you need to do it, but for ads, it's basically the easiest way for us to, one, automate the process, and two, use that to negotiate and leverage the fact that they're coming to us, and we can use that again as leverage to be able to negotiate them down on the phone, as a sense, this quote of desperation to sell this phone. It's so important to make sure that you are the one kind of on the top of the negotiation. You always want to be the person that has the leverage to be able to work the other person down, and that's how we're able to make our money. So running ads like crazy, maybe that's on Craigslist or OfferUp, Letgo, Facebook Marketplace, or even as one thing that I do is Facebook ads. If you guys aren't running ads on there like crazy in Q4, you're definitely going to be missing out on a huge share, because even though there's not so many people that know to go out and find these ads for phones, the people that do are going to be hitting them like crazy. So we want to be the first people in front of them, and therefore being able to make the most profit doing so. So this brings me to my second point, and also talking about ads. One thing that I tried last year that worked really well for me is having a holiday spin on the ads. So I mean, it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but obviously you just want to make your ads as appealing as possible. And for me, it's all about ad copy, creating something that's visually appealing and making people actually want to click on your ad, because there are competitors out there. So what's going to separate your ad from somebody else? Yeah, they might go to all of them and just see the prices, but a lot of people just have this buyer's intent of going and clicking on ads that people kind of can connect with and just feel trust with. So maybe putting a holiday spin on it, maybe for Thanksgiving, leading up to Thanksgiving, you could do something with Thanksgiving theme. What I'd recommend is maybe doing something like, an example you could say in your ads was looking for cash for the holiday season, looking for cash to buy some presents for your kids, stuff like that. I mean, it's such a small thing to add in your actual ad copy, but I mean, it really can make the difference between somebody clicking on your ad and somebody else's. And even the picture, you might add snowflakes to it, maybe a snowman, make it a little bit appealing, play around with it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But with that said, I can almost guarantee it's gonna make you or help you buy an extra anywhere from 1 to probably 50 phones during the holiday season, simply because you took that extra time to make it look a little bit more appealing, attracted to the holiday season. Going into the third point, build up your cash to help pay for an influx of phone. And this is a big thing that I had making a mistake of last year, and what I'm going to be implementing into my business model this year is not just not having enough cash. For me, last year I could only take out a few hundred out of my bank. Now I can take about $1,000, but even for Q4, that's probably not going to be enough. I want to have as much cash as possible, and I always want to be able to buy phones, because with phone, I hate the feeling of somebody coming to me with a phone, and let's say I've already bought 3, 4, 5 phones for the day, and I legit can't take out any more money, and they're looking for cash only. Well, I can't really do anything about it, and they're probably just going to go to the next guy down the street and just click and just sell it to him for probably the same or even less. So we're missing out on that profit, and it's super annoying. So you always want to have enough cash for you, and the one way you could do that is just reselling locally. Obviously the easiest way is to just resell locally, build up your cash flow that way. That's how I always teach beginners to do it, is buy cheaper phones, build up that cash, buy a newer phone, build up that cash, buy a newer phone, build up that cash, up to your about 2, 3 even $4,000 or $5,000 in cash on you. And yeah, that's a lot of money, but in Q4 that goes like that. That could literally, I know, like I've had days where that could go in with like $3,000, $4,000 in a single day, out to just people buying their phone. So when that happens, that's one way you can do it. And another thing I guess you could do is just take out, maybe for like a week, take out as much money as you can to maybe get, like I'd recommend $4,000 or $5,000 plus in cash. Obviously keep that protected and stuff like that, but you just want to build up your cash flow to be able to buy these phones, because if you don't have the cash, obviously you can't buy it. Some people will take PayPal and Venmo, but I recommend always just doing cash. It's part of the business. It's just the most attractive offer for anybody. So the fourth point that I have for you guys is to negotiate harder. In the holiday season, obviously people with families, a lot of people can't afford to buy gifts, so they go into desperation mode. They want to be good parents, no matter what. I don't really know the scenario of people, but I mean it differs by every single person. But people are desperate to get in that buyer's intent. Even though they don't have money, people are still in that buyer's intent. They spend money they don't have, and in a sense, like some people might say this is scheming or stuff like that, but in my opinion, I mean, it's just part of the market. It's just buying and selling things. So I'd recommend to negotiate harder. This is the kind of season where you're going to be able to buy phones for a lot cheaper. That's what I noticed last year. People are kind of desperate for money. And yeah, don't take advantage of that necessarily, but just be more confident in what your prices are. I mean, you could even lower your buying prices for certain types of phone to be able to make a little more profit, because, I mean, when you're the only person that people go to because you had an ad up and they don't really know other people exist out there to do this, and they give you one price, a lot of people don't know to go somewhere else, and a lot of people don't have the time to really go out and maybe sell on a local app, because they recognize that could take a couple weeks if they really try. So having the potential to get that couple $100, however much the phone is, to have that cash in their hand within a couple minutes or a couple hours is very appealing for buyers, and therefore they can go out and just buy whatever they want for the holiday season. So I'd recommend going out there, negotiating a little bit harder, being confident on your prices, and I guarantee you'll start to see your numbers go exponentially up from there. So I think this is the last point I have, but number 5 is find a private buyer in the next few weeks to move inventory quickly. And this is probably the most important on there, probably next to running ads like crazy. But having a private buyer, if you guys don't have that experience yet, you're definitely missing out on a huge market. I mean, for me anymore, I don't hold on to a phone, to be honest, for more than a day or two. A lot of the times they're shipped out the same day or within the same hour that I get the phone, because I already know the prices I'm going to be selling to my private buyer for going into that meetup. That's a lot of the times, that's how I appraise my phone, based on what my buyers would buy them for. So finding a private buyer is definitely important, especially, as I said in the last point of this sentence, to move inventory quickly, because if you're not selling these phones, you're not getting cash in. It's all going to be red from there. So obviously having cash flow is super important in this industry. So having that inventory move very quickly is honestly super important. So do whatever you can to find private buyers. I'd say the 2 ways you can do it is just start selling on eBay pretty crazy, just start to get some attention on there. And another way, if you guys aren't in my Facebook group, there's a lot of buyers in there that do legit business, and I use a couple of them in there myself, so I can attest to how legitimate they are. If you guys are not in my Facebook group called Phone Flipping Mastermind, it's in all the links in my description. It'll also be in this video down below as well. But go in there, just kind of shoot a message in the group saying, hey, anybody here buy phones? I can guarantee you'll probably get 5, 10, 15 different people that are going to give you a price sheet. And I'd recommend only using people that have a legitimate price sheet. A lot of people will come to you saying, yeah, just shoot me what you have and I'll tell you a price. It's kind of annoying that way. To really tell somebody's a legitimate private buyer means they usually have 99% of the time they're legitimate if they have a price sheet. And they also, if they do have a price sheet, they're probably going to pay a lot more than people that just say, just shoot me what you have and I'll give you an offer. Those are the kind of people that don't really pay high. I've seen it. I've been scammed by it before, so I just wanted to warn you guys about that. But again, those are probably the 2 ways I go about trying to find a private buyer, because that is probably the most important thing to have in Q4, to be able to move that inventory quickly, especially if you're buying a ton of phones at once. So I also included a bonus tip for any of you that are running Facebook ads. I just want to note that if you're seeing higher CPMs, which is basically cost to reach basically 1,000 people with your ad, it is going to go up. It's just part of the Q4. It happens in e-commerce. It happens in phone flipping. Whatever you're running in terms of ads on Facebook, your cost to reach somebody and get to somebody to click on your ad to be able to sell their phone to you is going to go up. So don't worry about that. If you see that trend, just go along with it. If you don't want to run Facebook ads anymore, I wouldn't recommend it, but I mean, it's just going to cost a little bit more to get those phones to you. Totally fine. I'm not saying it's going to cost like double the amount. It might be a couple dollars here and there per actually phone you get, but when you're making $100 on a phone, I already account that into my profit margins already. So I raise my prices. I raise my prices a little bit more when people, I lower them a little bit more when people come to me, just to account for that cost of the Facebook ads. So if you guys are doing that, I thought that I'd throw that out for you. But if you're not doing Facebook ads, I definitely recommend it for Q4 because I'm doing pretty well with it. You guys have seen my numbers before. I don't have to show you again. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, I definitely appreciate you. If you haven't liked the video yet, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subbed to the channel, hit that subscription button down below. I really appreciate it. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.